Hey everyone, welcome in. Thank you for joining me. My name is Marlene. I am with A Room to Bloom, and this is your podcast oracle reading. So today I am going to start a reading out with a deck I created called the Place Cards because, in my life things are shifting, there are changes going on, and that happens in all of our lives, right? And so sometimes we settle into places, but oftentimes we have shifts going on, and seeing how do we fit, or we ask ourselves, where do I belong into this situation? So I'm going to just go ahead and shuffle these, and we will see what comes up. A number of them fell out. Okay, out of those that fell out, one had turned upside down, and it speaks of color. So what it says is, what color is your life? Do you see in color? Do you dream in color? Color has the ability to affect our mood, to raise our vibration, to calm us, to revive us, to depress us, but mostly to heal us. What colors are prominent in your life, and where could you add some? So, maybe you've moved to a new place and you're like, it may not be resonating with you, the current colors that are there. And maybe for some time you've just dealt with it. But it's interesting because where I live, it's spring. And so, that kind of like that spring cleaning, the spring shifts. Think about birds that are building their nests for their little ones. I got goosebumps. In what way could you bring some color into your life? Now, also, when you look at color from a color healing perspective, each color carries certain vibrations. So it's about checking into that. It's called chromotherapy. And checking in with how you're currently feeling in your situation. And you can kind of go room by room, if it's in your home, whatever that is. And do a self-check. How do I feel in this room with the particular colors that are here? And really just focusing on the color. Does it make you feel anxious? If it does, it may be too bright. If you feel depressed and down, the colors may be like drab. And so bringing some color in, like bringing oranges in, bringing in yellow, bringing in purples and blues, helps raise the frequency of a space, but finding balance in that. And also, if you have pieces that you can put in there that are interchangeable, also helps when you start to check in with yourself according to your mood. Okay, here's the next one. As I shuffled, we have trust. Trust takes time to build, but it can be lost in a moment. It is a two-way street that one person steps out on in faith, believing in another person to keep their word, to do what they say they will, to follow through because they also want trust. How can you rebuild trust today? How can you rebuild trust today? In what areas of your life has trust been lost? Okay, the next one is planning. But I will tell you, some of these cards I hadn't written on. That's interesting. So this is one that at the moment is not filled in. So that leaves space for saying, for planning. We're in spring. This is that time for what are you going to plant? This is like planning your garden, if you will, your garden of life. What seeds are you planting, or ideas, or inspiration, this type of thing, are you planting in this season that you'd like to see bloom by summer, right? Or bloom in your life. So really sitting with oneself and asking yourself, how am I investing in myself today, into my life, into what experiences I would like to have, maybe into your relationships, right? Into your spiritual path or journey. um, taking some time to sit with that. And and then the other thing is we can make plans, but when we trust the journey and don't get so upset if everything doesn't turn out exactly like we thought, um, that's having faith and trust. Okay, the next word is calibration. Again, this is blank, but calibration speaks of, I'm going to give you an example. So have you ever felt just in sync with someone? Like you're on the same wavelength. You're vibing at the same, you're on the same vibe, if you will, right? It's like you're calibrated. Think about in the movies when they'll have a group of people and they'll go, okay, and they all check their watches and they set them to exactly the same time. They're calibrating their watches, right? Or have you ever felt out of sync with someone and maybe at one point you were in sync with them, but some things have shifted in life for whatever reason, right? Maybe you started to do some different things or they started to do some different things. It could be a job. It could be added family members. It could be a variety of different things. So this is asking one to check in with oneself and saying, where do I feel in calibration with others and where might I feel out of sync? What maybe used to resonate with me isn't resonating with me. And can we recalibrate? That's a question. Do both parties or all parties want to recalibrate? Or are you being called to find who calibrates with you on your current energy, at your current energy or current vibration? Okay, the next one is fear. Notice that the word ear is in the word fear. This means that we have to listen to ourselves, the words we speak. We have to listen to our bodies. Are we having a physical reaction, which is fear-based? When we are with certain people or when we are in certain situations, do we create fear in others? And if so, why? Do you want to be heard? If so, listen to your own pain and ask why the fear is there. I have this one book. I've just moved things around though, and it's about a prayer that it's this whole book is kind of based on this, and this woman wrote it, and I'm sorry I don't have it handy and I do not know her name, but she speaks about that where she realized that she was kind of moving in fear and that she created this prayer just to help her step out of fear and to move more into trust, right? However, again, the word ear is in fear. And so it's about listening, being aware, using your discernment. Okay, the next one that we have is detoxification. So again, for this card I have not written on, but in detoxification, there's a number of things we can detoxify from. We can detoxify our physical body, right? So taking a look at maybe if we have had an abundance of something, right, to detoxify our body from certain things, whether that is foods, medicines, sugars, right? Some people, they step back from coffee or chocolates or whatever that is. In what area of your physical body might you need to do some detoxification? Now let's look at, we have three other bodies. We have the mental body. We have the physical body, we have the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual body. So if we look at the mental, what have you been carrying around that has possibly been stressing you out or causing things to go around and around in your head? What might be time, what is it that it is time to let go of, to detoxify your mind from situations that are going around and around that aren't really helping you? What is it time to let go of mentally? Emotionally, same thing. Have your emotions been getting the best of you? Is it time to do a detoxification from emotions that are swinging high or swinging in various directions, right? Where it's like, this is, we're being called to let go and give it to God, right? And it's like, and then moving into trust and faith, detoxifying from emotions that are all over the board. And then spiritually, detoxifying. Like, you know, that's tapping into our own spirit. Kind of really just tuning in with ourselves and saying, what in my life has not resonated with me, from a spiritual perspective, right? What is it time to let go of? Maybe, I don't know, maybe you did things a certain way at some point in your life, but now it's like you've opened up to other ways or more, realizing that we're all here, in God, that God lives with us, within us. Have you had a system that has been toxifying to you spiritually? And is it time to detoxify from something that really isn't sitting right with your spirit or your soul, right? Maybe at some point it was because maybe you were younger and you were programmed or you were indoctrinated. And I'm not saying like overwhelmingly programmed, but that's how we learn. We're just told certain things, right? Oftentimes. And so it's just the way we grew up. We don't really think that much about it. But then we have other experiences where we go, maybe maybe I'm not against that other, the way that I grew up, but maybe there's more, right? Maybe there's more. Maybe you start leaning into something that resonates with your spirit a little bit more, and you start to let go of something, um, that you realize for whatever reason maybe was toxic for you, depending upon what your situation is. The time is 10:04 right now, and here's the other thing: it happens to be April 15th, so it is tax day in the United States. And 10:04 says to me, do you hear this? Like loud and clear, like a trucker. 10:04. What do you need to detoxify from? What has been taxing to you, right? What has been taxing to you or weighing you down? It's time to communicate that with someone. Tens represent endings. Fours, I'm thinking about something. I'm thinking about the twin flame, card in the tarot deck. Something coming to a relationship, and then something new, something coming to an ending in a relationship, and then something new starting. Okay. The next one we have is forgiveness. This card is blank. In what area of your life would it behoove you to extend forgiveness, and to also consider the times that you have been forgiven, right? Being grateful, right? For all of those times. Okay, the next one. Okay, I have a deck here called, Team Tactics. I've only used it once. It's, a deck I just kind of ran into. I wasn't really planning on getting this. It says on the box, it says, ditch the chaotic mess and design great teams. So I'm just kind of curious about what comes up here. It was just 1444, which speaks about, that 444 speaks about protection. Designing great teams. The other day I had a message come to me, And the message was stick to the plan. And now I have goosebumps. Stick to the plan. I didn't really get on and speak about it, but that came to me. There was something about that, sticking to a plan, which could have something to do with teams. Oh, we have the word planning here as well. Oh, and collaboration, right? And I have planning, collaboration, and detoxification standing up here. And forgiveness, because those are four that did not have writing on them. Planning, collaboration, detoxification, and forgiveness. Interesting combination for those. All right, so here's the first one we have. Objectives and key results. Which is so interesting because we have planning here. Create radical focus for your team by agreeing on an objective and actively measuring progress towards it. Measure progress. The problem with most goals is that distractions get in the way of achieving them. The OKR framework, objective key results framework, is designed to give you radical focus on achieving an objective. It can be used individually within a team or at an organizational level. So, for example, before the meeting, invite everyone to submit their top objective for the team to achieve in the next quarter. An objective is a qualitative or aspirational end state. Put each objective on a sticky note, put them on a wall, and then theme short. Discuss them, private vote to find your primary objectives. I don't have to get into all of this, but it's speaks about setting objectives and establishing key results. Okay, we're going to go to another one. Team circles, and it speaks about environment. Create teams within teams to break down silos, build rapport, and share responsibility. Amazon founder Jeff Bezos famously instituted a rule. Every internal team should be small enough that it can be fed with 2 pizzas. A smaller team spends less time keeping people up to date and more time doing what needs to be done. Very interesting. And we're going to go ahead and take one more here. Team modeling. Model your teams on customer experience to remove silos that lead to poor services and production. Your team has spent weeks designing a new product page, while the engineering team has been busy increasing performance by removing features. The fresh design you want will now cost way too much to develop. If only your teams were set up to collaborate from the start. Again, model your teams on customer experiences to remove silos that lead to poor services and products. Which then I think really gets to this word calibration. Everybody being on the same page in situations, right? What are the objectives? Getting clear on those. What are the key results? Setting up team circles and team modeling. Okay, now we're going to go to a deck here called the Flower of Life. All right, what message do you have here for the collective? We have the word remember. We have forgotten what it is like to truly feel, and sometimes we mistake any depth of feeling for sadness, any sense of the unknown for fear, and any sense of peace for boredom. Accept your remembrance, your awakening, and let it blossom within you. Allow it to enlighten and to illuminate your magical inner world, giving direct access to your expanded presence through a greater perception of oneness. There was and is a time when self, soul, and world were one, when you lived in peace with yourself and the world around you. The memory is there in your heart, your cells, deep inside, underneath what you think is real. Sit quietly, take a deep breath, go within, and whisper to yourself, remember, remember. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take one more of these. Universal law. Everything in the universe consists of energy formed into different vibrations. All that is experienced and created in this life is the result of the magnetic law of attraction. Through this law, energies of the same type come together. Whatever you focus on will come into your life. The universe will never judge you, and as such makes no distinction between good and bad. It only organizes energies according to similarity. Today, create a vision for your life. Feel your vision. Feel that feeling and radiate it through your mind, your body, and your spirit. Hold that feeling. Meditate on it, become it, and very soon you will have many manifestations of your highest vision for your life, right? So this is the idea of embodying the energy, not living in the energy of I want, it's living in the energy of I am, right? I am not in lack. I am not in fear. I am uh, grateful and appreciative because I know that I am magnetizing everything into my life to fulfill my desires, right? And it's just a matter of how high my vibration is, how fast these manifestations come into my life and unfold. I always like to give the example of writing a grocery list. It's as simple as that. You know, write your grocery list. You may not go to the grocery store today, but you're kind of building it and you're thinking about it. And eventually you get the things on the list, right? Um, Sometimes you write the grocery list and you go right to the store. You write the grocery list and you place the order and you just do it. And you may not even write the grocery list. You might go online and just place the order and that's it. What happens if you have your groceries delivered? Like, you know, it could be an hour or 2 hours, your groceries are sitting on your front steps, right? So it's just saying, I know that I've got this, everything works out. I bring what I desire into my life. Let's see where we're at for time. You know, I'm going to keep this right here. I'm going to wrap this reading up. I'm going to keep it short. I want to say thank you for joining me. I hope this message helped you today. Again, the words here that came up were planning, collaboration, detoxification, and forgiveness. Color, trust, and fear. Thank you again for joining me. I hope you have a great day. Take care.